All right, today we're going to crack open a book, a manual really, that probably was never meant for the public. It comes from the world of intelligence operations, and it's basically a field guide to the deepest, most hidden patterns of human behavior, the Behavior Ops Manual. And right from the get-go, the author makes one thing crystal clear. This isn't some dusty academic textbook. No way. These techniques were born in the field, forged in places where understanding someone and influencing them was literally a matter of life and death. So, here's the book's big, audacious promise. Think about it like this. What if you had the admin password for the human brain? I mean, most of us are just users, right? Clicking around. This manual claims to give you the keys to the whole system, the master key to get past all the firewalls and access someone's core programming. So you might be asking, why did he even need this master key? Well, the author built this whole system to solve what he calls the time/distance problem. He points out something pretty wild. The average confession takes about 16 hours of interrogation. His challenge was, how do you get that same level of influence, that same level of persuasion, but do it in minutes instead of hours? And yeah, this manual is basically his answer to that question. Okay, so how on earth does it claim to do that? Well, it's not about winning a debate or using clever logic. Nope. The entire foundation of this thing is about bypassing our conscious mind altogether and going straight for the oldest, most primal parts of our brain. Let's dive into how they build that foundation. And this is really the core idea of the whole book. The central thesis is that the closer you can get to the brainstem, the more powerful your influence will be. Think of it like this. Our logical, conscious brain, that's just a thin layer of icing on the cake. The real operating system, the thing running all the automatic programs, is the brainstem. And every single technique in this manual is designed to talk directly to that. So if you're going to talk to the brainstem, you've got to speak its language, right? And in this manual, that language is called behavioral scripts. These are basically the little software programs that are always running in the background of our minds. You know, our automatic reflexes, our social instincts, even deep-seated fears that might have been passed down for generations. They're the things that make us do stuff without even thinking about it. And the book lays out 4 key rules for how these scripts work. It's actually pretty brilliant. Rule 1, if you interrupt a script, say you go to shake someone's hand but do something weird, you instantly create intense focus. Rule 2, if you borrow a script from their past, you can pretty much predict how they're going to react. Rule 3, if you can tap into an ancient script, like our built-in response to authority, you can get almost automatic compliance. And finally, if you just call out a script, talk about it openly, you totally disarm it. Its power just vanishes. Okay, so that's the theory, which is pretty fascinating. But how does an operator actually use this stuff in the real world? Well, the next part of the manual is all about the toolkit, a really structured way to decode people on the fly. And listen, this is not your typical how to read body language section you'd find in a self-help book. This is called the Behavioral Table of Elements, or BTE for short. The whole idea here is to take the art of observing people and turn it into a hard science. We're talking about giving every single gesture a symbol and a value, kind of like the periodic table of elements in chemistry. So here's a little peek at how it works. An operator in the field wouldn't just see someone cross their arms. They would mentally log that and give it a specific deception rating. Or let's say someone suddenly pulls their feet back under their chair. It's a huge red flag for withholding information. See? Everything gets its own code. And the level of detail they go into is just, wow. Take a shoulder shrug, for instance. It's not just a shrug. The manual says a full, two-shouldered shrug usually means a genuine, I don't know. But a quick, one-sided little shrug, that's totally different. That can signal the person has almost no confidence in what they're actually saying. It's the same basic gesture, but with 2 completely different meanings. But this whole table of elements thing, that's really just scratching the surface. The manual argues that the real analysis, the deep stuff, comes from figuring out what a person fundamentally needs. You know, those deep-down drivers that are making all their decisions for them. And that brings us to the 6MX human needs system. The idea here is that all of us have these 6 core needs, but for each person, there's one that's the main driver. Is this person desperate for approval, or do they need to feel significant above all else? Maybe it's about connection. According to the manual, once you figure out their primary need, you found the key. You know exactly what they value most, and you know how to frame anything you say to them. All right, and this is where the book really shifts gears. We're moving from just analyzing people to actively influencing them. The second half of this manual gets into what you can only call, well, the dark arts of persuasion. Some really advanced and ethically, let's say, gray techniques. I mean, we are talking about some serious stuff here. Like elicitation, that's the art of getting someone to give you information without you ever even asking a direct question. Or using confusion on purpose to make someone more suggestible. There are even step-by-step methods for breaking down someone's resistance to an idea. One of the wildest models in the whole book is this one. It takes the 5 stages of grief and applies them to decision-making. The author points out that the word decide literally means to cut off. So every choice we make is like a little death for all the other options. The claim here is that you can actually walk someone through denial, anger, and bargaining to get them to accept your idea, your decision, way faster than they would on their own. So, look, these techniques are already pretty intense, right? But the manual, it doesn't stop there. It goes even further. Its most extreme claims go after the very fabric of who we are, our own experience. Memory. Modification. I'm not kidding. There is an entire section dedicated to, and I'm quoting here, erasing or modifying episodic memories. It lays out 5 different ways to do this. We're talking about making a memory impossible to access, or changing the details of what happened, or even replacing it with something new. It is, without a doubt, the most shocking thing in the entire manual.
So after all that, what's the final verdict on this thing? Well, it is absolutely a dual-use toolkit. It's like a powerful tool, a hammer, maybe. You can use it to build something beautiful, or you can use it to tear something down.
You can easily see the good side, right? You could use this knowledge for therapy, to be a better leader, to build real deep connections by truly getting where people are coming from. You could even use it to spot when someone's trying to manipulate you. But then there's the other side of the coin, and the potential for covert, hidden influence it's honestly pretty chilling.
You know, it seems like the author himself gets this. Right at the beginning of the book, there's this warning, basically saying, hey, this stuff is powerful. Use it wisely and treat it with a massive amount of respect. It's like he knows he's handing over the keys to something dangerous. So in the end, the author calls his system a master key, a key that doesn't just open one lock, but is designed to open any door to the human mind. And after going through all this, the question that's left hanging in the air isn't really about the key, it's about who's holding it. So I'll leave you with this. What doors would you open? And maybe more importantly, which doors are better off left locked for good?